Hmm. Well, now this has never happened before, but our video is not playing. It starts and then it stops, which has never happened before.
Want
So
some
it's
help?
a magical time. The
Shall
magic has
I,
already begun.
shall I
Here we go.
What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Awakening World. I am Love Coach Scott Katamas, and I'm honored to be your host for tonight, especially this evening's show. We have people in this Zoom room that I have so much love and respect for. We have the Twin Ray with us. And I thought, okay, if we're going to have the Twin Ray, we got to have very special music. Of course, we have our beloved house musical artist, Amashar, and we also have Kristen Hoffman with us. And for the very first time in the 3 years that I've been doing shows on Saturday night, the Twin Ray are our only presenters. Why? Because this is a really amazing time on the planet. And I can't think of anybody who can give more insight and wisdom about the astrological alignment, the energetics, than our beloved Twin Ray. So it's going to be a very special show. They have a lot to share. Now, I want to welcome all of our friends that are in the Zoom room, and I see so many people that I love and that are regulars. Let us know where you are geographically, and a lot of them already have. We've got Dorina Joy in Ecuador. We've got people in British Columbia, people all over the world joining us, which is really cool. I also want to welcome those of you who are watching on Facebook. We go out to over 135 Facebook groups and pages. Thank you, John and Summer Raymer and the Sign Network for making that happen. And it's great you can watch us from Facebook, but you know what? I want to invite you to join the Global Peace Tribe. And what's wonderful is if you join the Global Peace Tribe, then you're going to get the links to all of our shows all the way through till June 30th. We do as many as 4 shows a week, always a minimum of 3. And it's easy. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com. And on that website, you'll learn all about us and the shows. There's the Twin Ray. Of course, we've got them featured on our website. And we do all these wonderful shows. And it's easy. All you have to do is click register for the new season. And that'll take you to our registration page one of these moments. There we go. Got it. And on the registration page, you'll learn a little bit more about what we offer. So, for example, on Wednesday night, we do a show every Wednesday night. My co-host is Trish, and Omashar is always with us as our co-pilot and house musical artist. And so on Wednesday night, we did a wonderful show all about uniting in love. And then here's the show we're doing tonight, learning about the power this equinox and the astrology with the twin ray. And then tomorrow we will continue our understanding of all of this as we celebrate the equinox with Abigail Spinner McBride, who is a delight and a special new guest star, Bright Hawk. So again, register for all of our shows. You're going to get the links. You'll also get an email every Monday that gives you the recordings and the replays to the previous shows. So please come and join us. The Global Peace Tribe is ever growing, ever expanding. We've got a retreat coming up, which you'll hear about later on in the show. But I want to get right to it. And we always start our shows with music. And we are blessed to have Kristen Hoffman with us tonight. She is one of our absolute favorite musical artists. I'm blessed because she co-hosts shows periodically with us. And she just, as well, many of you are already excited that she's here. And for any of you who haven't heard her sing before, you're in for a very special treat. Welcome, Kristen.
Oh, so good to be here, Scott. I know it's going to be a very beautiful evening. And I wanted to open with a piece called Open. And this piece was born as a solo improvisation live with a group of people. And so there's some of it that's set, but then I allow the whole other part to just come through, inspired by you and the energy field that we are co-creating in this moment. So as I'm playing this piece Open, I want to invite you to just scan through your body, your mind, your heart, your spirit, and just open, expand each part of you more as you find places where you might be holding. Just lovingly open, open, open. Let go. Use this song, use the music as an opportunity to let go of any thoughts, any mind stuff that came from your day, just bringing you into this present moment together so that we can fully receive the gifts of this evening. Okay, here we go.
So I'll twinkle and breathe in just that incredible energy.
So much love. Eternal
Oh, Kristen.
love.
The challenge when you play is that I cry and then it's hard to talk.
We love your beautiful tears, Scott. So
Oh.
anytime you're having trouble talking, that's a beautiful time.
The moment I hear your voice for the first time, there's just this wave of tears, and I see so many people appreciating you and loving you, and what a perfect opening. I'm going to bring them on while you're still with us, because I know you also have a very special relationship with the twin ray.
Such a gift to be here tonight with you both. I was feeling you so much while I was playing. I was just tuning with you and feeling your beautiful light and hearts. Thank you for being here, and I'm so excited for everything that will be shared tonight. So,
Thank you.
And Kristen will be back with us for 2 more numbers. So thank you, Kristen. Love you so much.
I love you too.
Now, most of you probably know the twin ray because they've been on this show many times, but I know that we have some new people. So I'm going to let you just gaze upon these beautiful beings while I share a little bit about them. Guided by a compassionate heart and unified by their divine love marriage, the twin ray, Shekinah Ma, is Anandaji, and everybody needs to mute, by the way. Just a reminder to people to please mute. They have come together to bring this vision of their ancient wisdom into an unchanging truth. Twin ray was founded by the devotion of Shekinah Ma and Sanandaji's unwavering love to serve humanity. And it represents the unitive creation of all existence. Their teachings are contemporary, yet they hold reverently to a very ancient thread. They are simple, yet sophisticated, heart-opening, inspirational, mind-stilling, wisdom-filled, and timelessly proven to bring self-realization through 5,000 years of an unbroken lineage of truth. Shekinah Ma and Sanandaji have a golden age sanctuary among the mountains of Southern Oregon. I've been blessed to visit. It's an amazing sanctuary, most appropriate for the energy they carry. And they inspire their local and global community of mystics, yogis, healers, community leaders, and householders. That's all of you who hear my voice right now and are with us. They are here to guide us into action, into selfless service to humanity and our beloved Mother Earth. Their method of teaching the transcendence of worldliness that inevitably brings suffering and binding, instead they're helping us to awaken to the ultimate and unchanging truth of liberation. They teach students how best to play gracefully through this world into the true light of spirit as they reveal the nature of pure awareness through their specialty as music adepts. So, and there are a lot more than that too, I gotta say. But I've gotten the chance to get to know them, and they're always this way. They're always playful and wise and generous and very, very loving. And their camera is also frozen right now. Twin Ray, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes. Is that camera fine? Or do we need to shift gears?
It's coming and go. You were frozen there for a little bit.
Okay, perfect. Maybe we'll just so still with that heart opening.
That's what we just do.
So we've invited them. I mean, they could be here every week if they wanted to be, but I really asked them to come in this time because there's a very extraordinary astrological alignment. It's the equinox, there's energies, and I really have asked them to share with us what this all means and how we can work with these energies. So I'm I'm going to remove myself and turn it right over to these two beloveds.
Thank you, beloved. Never removed from us. You're always with us and in our heart. So
Yes.
never
Thank
removed.
And thank you so much, Kristen, for that beautiful, beautiful heart opening and just soul awakening. That was just such a beautiful sonic transmission of alchemy and lights. And so
And Kristen has become so dear to us.
absolutely.
So very
Yes.
dear to
Look forward for
you coming soon.
you coming soon as well.
We're working on a little project together.
Yes.
A little special project.
Yes, so
And thank you, Scott, for your opening sharing of us. Really, we're here to share love and inspire each one of you, beautiful beacons of lights, how majestic, how divine each and every one of you truly are. And all of our teachings are focused on one simple thing, and that's freedom, liberation from any type of binding, any suffering. And so
that's right.
removing all those veils of the not self reveals the ultimate self. And it is possible to live in the peace that you are, in the truth that you are, in the love that you are, in the bliss that you are every single day.
Every single day.
And sometimes it gets a little bit tough, when there's emotions and the world is in its spin, and there's certain things that play out in life, and one forgets, really the deep truth of who they are momentarily. And so our humble service is just really to love and serve all, and do anything that we can to help each and every one of you on your journey at whatever level, at whatever stage.
Everything we do, every breath we take is to bring the golden age to this planet, is to enlighten, inspire, ignite that incredible spark of fire within every single heart and every single soul. And our teachings, our sharings, our quiet transmissions, everything is in service to that love, is in service to that God presence.
And so we're in this powerful portal. I mean, the last few years, ever since really 2012, there's some other event that's happening. There's this next big echelon of monumental energy coming to this apex. And we're at this powerful time, especially now as the equinox. And anytime there's an equinox or solstice, there's this new influx of energy. And we'll share more about that as we play together, as we dance together. But ultimately, as Shakina just said, that divine spark, we are at the precipice of this divine spark as we're moving into Aries. And Aries represents that divine initiator, that divine spark that's inside of each one of your hearts and minds. And a whole new alchemical cycle is happening personally for the human body and collectively. And even if we're in the Southern Hemisphere and we find ourselves on this broadcast, it is still that divine transmission that's occurring. Every equinox and solstice is the same. So we felt called to give a little bit of a foundation and a background to astrology, and sort of what's the difference, because there's different types of astrology, and why is astrology really important? And then just lay that foundation. Some of you may be quite learned in different arts of astrology. Some of you may know nothing, and that's absolutely fine as well. So we just want to spend a moment just to decipher between what different types of astrology there is, and then share a little bit of how we interpret the stars. And the stars are really the language of the soul. As stars, so the cells. And so as the stars are dancing together, it's really representative of the different aspects and archetypes and energy patterns that are cyclical in nature that are playing out through your incarnation. So what is astrology, and what is the difference between something like sidereal astrology and tropical astrology? So sidereal basically is the charting of where the planets are in relationship to where the Earth is. It's a very geocentric model. And this is also known as Vedic astrology. And tropical astrology is more inherent to the equinox and solstices. We're not suggesting that one is better than the other. We embrace all traditions, and there's many amazing teachers of each different style of astrology. And there's also Mayan astrology, which is a newly founded astrology in this epoch, but it's obviously based in ancient sciences as well, which is more on the lunar calendar. So, and then there's obviously Chinese astrology, and then there's different offshoots. But it doesn't really matter what astrology you focus on. Each one of them have their own sort of energetic field, sort of morphogenic field of how you relate to yourself, essentially. And the astrology that we teach is more of a
golden age astrology.
Yeah, the golden age astrology is from an ascended version, because we find with some astrology there can be a little bit of duality between, you know, this is the positive influence and this is a negative influence. So we've tidied up that language a bit and just expressed from a more unified perspective. And so it doesn't really matter what approach you take, what type of astrology you use, but the premise is that so the stars, so the cells. So the macrocosmic snapshot of the sky is very much like a cosmic clock. It's a clock of cycles, and that also relates to the microcycles in your body. So certain planets represent certain elements of your energetics.
So what we've done, just to break it down even into a even more simple way, is we have basically imagined everyone is already ascended. You're done, you completed, your soul has ascended, you've reached that light of God, you are feeling the bliss, living in this at every moment. How did you get there? What did you do to get there? What did the planets do to help you get there? And so Golden Age astrology is about almost reverse engineering how you got there. It's the ascension map. And what's so exciting about it is that it really allows you to witness the stars and the planets in a very different way than perhaps you learned about it before. As we tend to do, we tend to bring in a little bit of a new energy with everything that we do. And Golden Age astrology is no different. And it's all about that. How did you get there?
Yeah, so speaking to that very soon future self that is living the highest reality, living in that ascended reality, living as the bliss of your truth, and giving you a map of actually how to establish yourself in that position, in a fixed position. So it's not something that comes and goes, but it's something that is your living reality. And that's the joy of this reading, so to speak, is that your natal charts, which is basically your navel connection. So if your navel was connected through an umbilical cord to the cosmos, that's the demonstration or the visualization of what your natal chart represents, which is basically a snapshot of the sky when you took your first breath. So the very moment you took your first breath, you took in that breath, and that breath is full of energy. It's full of life force. You begin your life with breath and you complete your life with a breath. And so that breath, that prana, that chi, that life force is instilling this cosmic intelligence into your body. And what happens, because if we take a look around and we see all this sort of perceptual distance between objects, we could call that plasma. So that information in the field, we could call it the field, the unified field, but ultimately everything's within this one unified field. And so certain planetary alignments, certain angles of those planets, when you take a breath, there's recorded information, also known as the Akash or the Akashic records.
That's right. And the way that those planets planets with their characteristics at the moment you took your first breath is the way in which your life will orchestrate, or at least the potentiality that is available for your life to orchestrate in this reality through this breath.
Yes, on my journeys to India, I was very fortunate to end up at a very, very sacred temple, and they had these astrological charts known as nadi charts, and it's basically a book that's written on leaves, and different traditions and different families have their own set of these books, but ultimately it has every single life that will ever come onto this planet already written in the records. And how they did this is that's through siddhas, and siddhas are beings that have perfected their physical vessel and have transcended the physical form, but left immense knowledge. And they would record every angle of every single planet and every combination of how it would relate to our Earth, and show the traits. And from this siddha science, there's also this belief that your first breath, as you take in that breath, it creates this awakening inside your biocircuitry system, your energetics of your physical biology, that bring back your nadis. And your nadis are like the branches of your tree of life. So your spine would be, say, the trunk, and then all the nerves, those spiritual nerves that are in your physical body, but also in your energetic field, they hold all the records of all the lifetimes that you've ever lived. And so from that premise, it doesn't mean your destiny is fixed. It means that there's certain potentials, and it's up to you to live at certain calibrations of vibration that allow you to live and experience those potential realities. And
be aware of the planets interfacing at those times so that you can utilize that power and make it happen.
Yes, so the teaching is that your last breath of the last incarnation becomes the first breath of your next incarnation, and so on and so forth. So you can never escape your karma, so to speak. And karma is just a word for action. You can never escape the records, basically, that's of your soul's light. Because when you incarnate your soul, the soul's like this cloud of information. It has the emotional body, the mental body, the astral body, the higher causal body, and it has all this pre-causal conditioning. So when you have it come into hosting a physical body, all these records start interconnecting into your physical body. And then that becomes sort of the projector of your life. So if there's any certain energetics because ultimately energy just wants to complete itself. And if so there's anything that's inside the physical instruments that's maybe not in its completion, that matching energetic force, in order for that to go in completion, so those circuits run in a complete 360 degrees, you will attract that frequency into your life so you can learn that lesson. So the soul incarnates and incarnates to learn from its choices. And this astrology demonstrates how each one of those planets are embedded within the organs of your body, within the energetics of your body. So for example, Mars is all about action. It's this dynamic action. It's about physicality. It represents the physical expression of your life. And it also represents your physical biology. It also represents your heart, as well as so does the sun. So, and it also represents the muscular system of the body, all the actions that you take.
And your blood.
And of course, iron being the bloods, the very life force. So we can see Mars out there, but we can also see Mars as an intrinsic connection to your physical biology and your energetic makeup.
And how wonderful, because that really allows you to take the stars and start to interpret them in a different way that empowers you, that gives you the ability to not feel so out of control in your life, gives you the ability to really take hold of something that is tangible within you, and then start to understand and deeper understand the connection of all life within the universe and your place in it.
Absolutely. When you start seeing that these planets are basically these sentient life forms, these celestial life forms, and their relationship with Earth and their relationship with your body, you can actually start tuning to the very essence, the very spirit of that planet to actually empower. So if there's if you're feeling low of energy, for example, like physical energy to be productive and get things done, you can utilize that energy. And because it connects to your astral body, everyone's heard of the astral body, that's your astrological body, you can attune to that energy and allow that to actually bring more energy into your life. So you can partner with this energy because it's a part of the greater field of your own energetic makeup. So that's just a small aspect. You know, for example, Venus represents emotions. It represents your emotional body. It represents your relationships.
Your finances.
Yes, your relationship with
And
finances
prosperity.
and your relationship with exchange, your relationship with giving and receiving. And so that also correlates to, you know, the heart and how the heart opens up, but also how you relate to the very feeling of how one has within and gives in their life as well. So there's different characteristics of each one of the main planets. There's personal planets such as Mars, Venus, and Mercury being the mental body, and of course the sun and moon, which represent aspects of the soul. And because when you incarnate, there's what's known as a soul star chakra and an earth star chakra, which is how the energy of the soul actually comes into the grids, the geographic location of where you're born, the frequency match of where you're born, and also how you actually come into the physical. So there's two chakras that sort of are vortexes that allow that to come through. So we're giving you just a very baser platform to understand that astrology is not just the charting of the stars. So astrology is also the charting of your journey of life. And when you know the relationships that they have with each other, you can understand the aspects that will be unfolding in your own life and what to learn, what to garner from your life's experience.
And of course, on a grander scale, what's going on in the world?
Yes.
Why is the world dancing the way it's dancing right now? Why is society interfacing the way it's interfacing? What is going on? And to be able to read the stars like a map gives you that information. So we're going to talk about that now.
Yeah, it's like your ascension map, basically. That's how we see your natal chart. It's essentially like your ascension map, your soul map. And how this interconnects. So through the unified field, through plasma, the field of plasma, there's certain structured energy. So every planet has its own energetic field, essentially. And so as it comes into relationship with this Earth, and our sun and the moon and other planets, their field communicate to each other. So the structured energy field of that plasma informs and enforces those energetic connections, because we already know, and NASA has done a wonderful job in recording the sounds of each one of the celestial spheres known as the planets. So every planet has its own song.
The songs of the spheres.
And so the language of creation is sound, vibration, and light. So that sounds, that carrier wave of sounds and that vibration creates that reinforcement of connection between the energies of each one of the planets and how Earth receives that. So the solar system is really the system of your own soul and the journey of your own soul. And
the journey of the collective soul.
Exactly.
Present here and now.
So every time the sun goes through a different energy field known as a house or a mansion, is the house of many mansions or the place of many mansions in the heavens. So when the sun, which represents the light of your soul, goes into a new energy field, such as what we're doing right now through the equinox, we're going into Aries. Those fixed stars, which is through the belt of what's known as the ecliptic, which is another word for the zodiac, the signs of the zodiac, when our sun goes through each one of those signs, they're a different energy field. There's different characteristics. So there's different initiations that your soul or sun and the collective go through each month.
These are called galactic initiations.
Yes, because it's a part of what's known as the ecliptic, which is the ecliptic of our galaxy. And it's basically the journey of the sun going through those 12 main houses. There's also a 13th house, known as a fucus, which is basically the serpent bearer. And that comes into play when you have spiritualized the inner serpent, the kundalini, the inner dragon energy. When you spiritualize that, when you harmonize that, that powerful life force that you can cultivate internally. And so that secret sign represents essentially the combination of the 12 becoming the 13, which is the 12 becoming the 1.
There's always a secret 13.
There's always
Just as an opening of a secret, there's always a secret 13 when there's a 12.
Yes. And the story of the stars is really the story of electromagnetic energy. And it's also all the different myths, all the 12 labors of Hercules, the 12 apostles, all the different 12, the symbology of 12, the divine order, what 12 represents, which is what numerics that 12 represents, is the divine sequence and order. Every mythos that represents the 12, that is also a story of the stars. So what we teach as well is that every time you read a sacred scripture, there's 4 different ways to interpret that. The first way is a literal translation of what occurred. The second is the astrological and the archetypal aspect, understanding that all astrology is the expression of archetypes. There's also the third, which is the alchemical, which is sort of the hidden processes that happen. And we'll touch on that a little bit later. And the fourth is the transcendence.
The transcendental.
So when it's all in harmony and all in balance internally, so when you're on the pulse of life, you're literally on the pulse of the cosmos, and you are at that omnicentric point where everything is spiraling around you and you can feel it. You are not a separate entity, but you're a part of the fabric of reality, and you experience life in that unity. That fusion is ultimately what that freedom represents, is when you're living in harmony with the planets above and the planets within. So our model of Golden Age astrology is the representation of that, the ancient old axiom of as above, so below, and as within, so without. And so throughout,
Cells and the stars.
yes, as the cells, so the stars. So that's the premise of what this means, is that whatever's happening in the stars, when you understand your relationship with it, you can understand your relationship internally. And you can also understand your unconscious mind, because a natal chart, when you know how to read it specifically, you can actually gain access to your unconscious mind. And the unconscious mind has this incredible storehouse. So the conscious mind picks up like 400 bits of information per moment, per microsecond. But the unconscious picks up like 40 million bits of information. So it's this incredible storehouse of data. So when you can understand the inner workings, which is another word for esoterica. The esoteric means the hidden workings. When you can crack open a chart or crack open your map, you can understand, or understand, better said, the internal mechanics that's operating through your mental body, your emotional body, your physical body, and your spiritual bodies alike.
Yes. And so what's exciting here is that we hear all the time people say to us, beloveds, we don't come with a map. We don't come with a what is it?
A life book.
A life book. And but you do. and here it is, and this is how you read it. And what does that do? That allows you to see the mirror into your soul, the depths of what you're here for, your purposes, what you are here to learn, why you've needed it to learn, how many times you've had to learn it, and when you can expect completion on it. Yes.
You can literally map, where your last incarnation was, and what the themes of that was, and what passed over into this life, and then what's your future incarnations, or the transcendence of incarnations altogether, where you're free, and then you make choices on your incarnation, but not from the sort of destiny script of the unconscious mind, because truly consciousness itself doesn't incarnate. consciousness, great spirit, the pure truth of ultimate love, of your true essence, doesn't incarnate, because it already is incarnation. It is the very fabric of reality. But the soul, which is the jiva, the individualized expression, that divine spark, has its own unique expression, and then goes through different cycles within cycles within cycles.
And this is part of the multiplicity of the divine.
Yeah, exactly. And so
this is the Maya, this is the magic, all of this.
yes. So we want to premise this so we can basically build from that to speak about what's happening now.
In section number 2.
And we'll speak into that
As we know.
in the next section.
Yes. So we'll take a pause now.
Oh, wow. What a beautiful introduction. And it's like everything, like she said, everything they do, they bring their own unique new way of understanding that it's even deeper and more applicable. So thank you so much. This has been part 1. And in order to help us digest this beautiful and incredible information, we're going to have some more music. And this time our music's going to be with our wonderful house musical artist, Omashar. Most of you know Omashar, certainly all of you that are regulars know him. There he is. Hey, brother.
Hey there, namaste. And thank you so much, Twin Ray, for all that thou hast imparted already. And let's take a little break here. And well, not a break at all. This is a continuation. This is a deepening. Thank you. Absolutely.
Yes, a deepening.
Yes, 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 yes. So let's see what happens.
Play with the stars.
Mm-hmm. What if we could find a way to wipe away all tears and fears, all broken hearts, to clear the way for a brand new start? Now that we see and know the way to lift our day and shine the light for all to see, the way back home and the way to be free. Let our love lead the way. Let the light shine through all. Let our hearts and minds be free. As we rise up from the fall, there is a way to see again, to be again, to know the truth and smile again. With an open heart we feel safe again. Now that we're free and we see that the way is to let our love show us a new way to be, and we relish the chance to be part of the dance that will recreate the world anew. What if we could find a way to wipe away minds be free. As we rise up from the fall.
Hey, everybody. I'm going to go to gallery view. Let's twinkle our beautiful beloved brother, Omar Shar. Look at all those beautiful souls appreciating you, my friend. Thank you so much. It's really incredible how he is at every single one of our shows, providing music and so much more. He provides so much support to me, to the Global Peace Tribe. Omar Shar, I am so grateful to you. You are
Mutual, Scott. Thank you so much. I feel so uplifted and blessed by this collaboration. And of course, we've all come into this frequency and we're all just, at this frequency and working with each other to help each other lift each other up. And so there it is.
Yeah. Thank you so much, my friend. Love
And
you.
that was a brand new song called What If? And the day before yesterday, I was just contemplating this show and contemplating the twin ray. And this song just went plop. I went, oh, thank you. Wrote it down, scribed it out, spent 2 days rehearsing it, and there it is.
Perfect.
It was just so wonderful and uplifting and profoundly beautiful, Omar Shah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Namaste. Thank you.
And we just want to share, for us, it's so moving. I have tears watching everybody who's here dance and find their joy and feel the upliftment. It's very special. It's very much.
Yeah, thank you. It's a beautiful, beautiful tribe. And I'm sure we'll be back with another number a little bit later on in the show. You know, there's so many amazing comments that have come in, so much appreciation. I'm just going to read a couple. From Dorina, thank you again for these great perspectives, macro and micro. Question, how much does free will play a role in this cosmic dance of consciousness, soul incarnations, unconscious expressions, and the unfolding of human uniqueness, learning, and wisdom? So there's a little question to drop in there. And of course, so many people are sending appreciations that, gosh, I can't, I'll read just a couple. Dr. Laura writes, Dear Twin Ray, thank you so much. I'm already blown away and I study astrology. Your mastery is wonderful to behold. And a lot of love and appreciation from so many people right now. So I'm going to turn it back over to you for part two.
Beautiful. Well, what a question.
What a wonderful
question. So let's speak into that
Yes.
for a moment. Now, there's different potentials. So, for example, there's one ultimate reality. There's only one ultimate reality, and what we mean by ultimate is that is an unchanging reality. And that is the reality of truth. That is the true nature of love itself. And so that we can see, for example, that in the night sky, we look up and we might see some clouds. And we look past those clouds, we see stars, and we see them changing all the time, changing, rearranging, going through cycles within cycles. But the sky itself does not change. So that's the great spirit, the Holy Spirit, the true reality, the unified field.
It's the holding container within that allows the stars to exist.
Yes, and ultimately you are that true essence of that. Now, astrology is the mapping of the practical stuff. Like, okay, so how do we come here? How do we work out this life? Because I'm experiencing this unique expression as a soul, and that soul has had many different incarnations, has different causal conditioning. What is my free will? Do I have free will? The answer is yes and no.
And no.
And what we mean by that is that, so what's beyond the mind? What lies beyond the mind? This is a very important question to dive into, because all of your thoughts, your thoughts become your feelings. Your feelings become your perceptions and your habits. And those habits and feelings and perceptions of reality form different destinies. And that ultimately is based on one thing. It's called conditioning. So what makes everyone unique is their conditioning, whether it's family conditioning, societal conditioning, parental conditioning, ancestral conditioning, soul conditioning.
Soul conditioning.
Yeah, collective conditioning, religious conditioning, whatever conditioning. There can be conditioning that is free, which are things that are non-binding. So anything that is non-binding, for example, conditioning yourself to brush your teeth in the morning, conditioning yourself to wake up early and meditate in the morning, or do a spiritual practice. That's a good conditioning. It's not binding you.
That's positive reinforcement. That tells the
Yeah.
universe, I am on path and I really want this. And this is what I'm going to do to get it.
Yes, and your teeth will love you as well.
And your teeth will also love you too.
But what's binding conditioning is the elements of, say, there's a reactive sort of explosive response when, things aren't going your way, so to speak, or there's certain relationships that can, get the better of you, which would mean you don't have mastery with your emotional body, or there are certain life events that happen and there's certain responses that aren't bringing you peace and joy. So there's certain conditionings within the mind that can create certain sufferings. So what is the thing that's beyond the mind? We could say sort of the subconscious or the unconscious mind that's sort of controlling.
Or the substrata.
Yeah, but what's beyond that? And this is where the causal conditioning, the causal body, which holds all the data, all the records of every single soul incarnation, every moment that you've ever experienced is recorded within that causal instrument. Some call it the Akashic records, but ultimately there's a hard drive that has all the data, or it's a cloud basically that holds all the data. And that data is what enforces the mind.
What if we were to say to you, just to shift this for a moment, that your free will came to be when you incarnated on the planet and chose the exact moment where the stars would be? Would we tell you that that is in fact where your free will really stems from? And that then, as you incarnate through the veils, that free will with that absolute certainty and that absolute conviction tends to dissipate as it goes down the veils, the forgetfulness, the amnesia, the falling asleep until you get into the body. And what if we were to tell you that there is a way to be able to remember who and what you are and where you come from incarnation after incarnation until you choose not to incarnate any longer?
Or the different planetary systems that you choose to incarnate through or into. So there's different ways to look at it. You can look at it like it's all free will, and then there's a perception that there's causal conditioning. But ultimately, your mind is more like a river than a rock. So it's ever changing, it's ever flowing. It's not fixed and structured in one way. And so this universe and the Earth's position in it is a free will zone. So you have free will because you can choose what thoughts you can think, or you can allow thoughts to populate from different impressions within the mind. You can choose to master your mind. You can choose to open up your heart and cultivate more virtues. And when you do, you have more of the mastery in life. So there's basically 3 different variations of this holographic template of what we would see as free will. So your genetics inside you are the records. It's like your library, it's your data. So it's not just the data of your soul, it's not just the data of your physical incarnation, but it's also the data of all your ancestors. It's the ancestral line of your family line. And so different vibrational states changes the way that light projects from your DNA, because your DNA is literally just a structured form of light, and different variations of how your vibration is oscillating at will create a different reality. So just like we said earlier, sometimes it's called the amnesia. You go through the veils and you forget who you are or where you came from and why you're here. Mm-hmm. But that's the same as sometimes you get those really great ideas and you're at this high state and you get this really great idea and you're like, oh yes. And you get this euphoric or inspired moments and you
impassioned perhaps.
And there's all this clarity. And then all of a sudden you might forget it, or it might slip. And it's like, oh, what was that again? I had it so clear when I was in the shower or when I was going to sleep last night, but now I can't remember. And that's the same thing, is that you're in a vibratory state where you're at a match. You're at a match for that information, that mm-hmm. memory to sort of unlock and have access to, that perception to have access to. And then when you're not at that vibration, sometimes you forget those aspects. And so your DNA, there's 3 different sort of variations. There's a lot more, but we'll just break it down to 3. There's 3 different variations of how energy can express. One's the shadow. Basically, it's the ignorant aspect that is ignoring life, ignoring to do the inner work, basically. You just want to have a good ride and wants to
seek pleasure and pain, essentially.
Yeah, seek pleasure, but forget that the pendulum swings the other way and you experience pain, the absolute opposite.
And that's the thing about seeking pleasure, is that pain will always follow. It must. It is its polarity.
Yeah. Then there's the other aspect, that is the projecting aspect, where there's more of a, what can happen for my life? What can I get from life? And there's this sort of inner inspiration, or sometimes there's certain aspirations that one would like to accomplish or do in life.
We call that personal ambition and willfulness.
Yes, but there's 2 different ambitions. There's self-ambition for yourself, and then there's selfless ambition, which is to serve others. And so the first aspect, the shadow aspect, always remains in the shadow. The second aspect, if it's central focused, it's always going to bring you back to the same place. But when one chooses to serve others and help others and do what you really came here to do, then you move into this more pure state.
And you start sharing your light more naturally. Your body starts reorchestrating and reorganizing so that more light can be honed and you can share that light in order to serve.
Yeah, and this is the more virtuous state, where you start seeing things more clearly. You start seeing yourself more clearly. You start seeing life more clearly. So at the lower mind, there's no free will, because it's just conditioned upon the lower mind. At the higher mind, which is actually a unification with the heart and mind working in unison together, mm-hmm. there is free will, because you're utilizing the universal laws and you're expressing your connection through not a separative model, but a unified model to actually experience the beauty and wonder of this life. So as you go through the higher the spectrum, there is more free will. At the lower spectrum, there isn't, because there's so much conditioning. There's so much, you're ignoring the free will, essentially. So that's just a simple answer, or not so much a simple answer, but we hope it answers the question, because it was a beautiful question and it deserved a decent answer. But ultimately, there is 3 different calibrations that give you a different experience of life, because you are the projector of your life. And that's the same with your astrology. So that's the same. There's 3 different ways in which you can utilize that energy. And one is in its shadow form, which is what astrology teaches, the shadow and the positive side of things. But then there's the ascended aspect, it's the non-dual aspect of what that speaks of in relationship to you as an archetypal expression and an energetic configuration of you. So that's where we like to to focus on, is that higher non-dual expression that is the ascended aspect of what this planet represents as a macro and micro expression.
And what each planet has within its own characteristic and value, its ascended expression as well. Just as a human becomes a divine human and truly is in that divine union at all times, and thus lives through that virtue, that love, that beauty, and that grace. Life also reflects that in every moment. And yes, it does actually reflect that in every moment. It is possible. The planets also have an ascended expression. And so everything we see is from that ascended place. We look at the world, we look at society, and we say, ah, yes. And we see it looking not down per se, but you must be able to rise to see something clearly. Then when you're in the center of it, it will have veils around it. It will not be as clear. And so everything is from an ascended perspective. And just as it's possible for a soul to ascend even higher, to reach that God point, that spark, and unify with it, to then receive life and give life through that offering, so too do the planets also have their ascended aspects.
Yes, and those are the ascended aspects of yourself. Those are ascended aspects of your energetics. And this time right now, we're at a very pivotal time because we're moving into the equinox. And there's a few different elements that we want to cover while we're here together. One is the equinox and why they are important. One is also Pluto and why Pluto's movement is so important as Pluto's moving into Aquarius, and why that's very important.
And this has never happened before.
Yeah, well, in our generation, in this for humanity,
this new world,
it never has happened before. We're also moving into a wormhole, and we want to express what a wormhole means and why that's important. And these are, this is just like living on the pulse. Like when you know what's happening in the stars and you understand the forecast, you start understanding, there's certain times where there's certain things that you can do to bring in certain aspects of your greater self. Because the stars, the map of the stars, you can also see that as your higher self. So a little map that we can give you, say, for example, Earth, the geocentric model of Earth could be like the human self. Then we have our solar system that would represent the soul. Then we have the higher dimensional planets, or the oversoul planets, which are these new planets which have a larger gravitational field that are coming back and being discovered. And anytime a planet is discovered and it's named, it goes through a naming ceremony. That's the collective acknowledging that aspect in our collective consciousness is ready to be worked with. And so that's the oversoul aspects. And then there's the monadic aspect. And monads means one. It means the many that make the one, monos. And that could be the different signs, the galactic expression. So the planets that are beyond the Kuiper belt, or the Neptunian objects as well, like different asteroids and different aspects that are bringing new energy into the mix, they are also
Whoops. Did they freeze for you as well, Omashar?
Yes, they'll be back.
They will be back. Well, while we are waiting for them to come on back, I would love to share a few things, actually. I guess we'll wait. They'll be back shortly, I'm sure. There's some really wonderful things that are going to be taking place that we want to make sure everybody knows about. In less than 2 weeks, the Global Peace Tribe is going to have its next retreat, and it's going to be quite wonderful. It's going to be taking place in West Los Angeles, and it's a collaboration. There's a whole week full of events taking place starting on March 28th. Kristen Hoffman, Pato and Antoinette, Ben Bowler, and Unity Earth are all coming together, Omoshar and many others, for the LA Convergence. That's going to be on Tuesday, March 28th. Then on March 29th, we're going to all go out to Pato and Antoinette's land. There's going to be a land blessing. And then we're going to come back to the beach and have a beautiful sunset time on the beach and some special evening stuff. And then on Thursday, March 30th, is kind of the kickoff of our Global Peace Tribe retreat. We're going to have a full day of our Global Peace Tribe love coaching. We're going to have 4 of my best coaches from Love Coach Academy. We're going to have Wowza, Connie, and Andrew doing a special event. And most of all, we're going to have live music with Omoshar and Bob and Pookie and Louisa Stowe and other friends of ours that live in Los Angeles. And many of you have seen Shri and Kira on this show. They're amazing, wonderful, wise, are going to be coming up from Ecuador. It's their first time back in the United States in 12 years. They're bringing with them their kind of ace shaman, if you will, and they're going to lead a whole series of shamanic practices and experiences on Friday and Saturday. And I'm just filling time telling people about the Global Peace Tribe retreat, so I'll complete. And then on Sunday, it's a psychic fair and also a Secret Sunday live event with Pato and Antoinette. And then we have the psychic fair on Sunday afternoon and evening. And they're still frozen, although they're gazing just so beautifully. What a wonderful gaze that they froze on. When I freeze, I look like this, but notice that with the twin ray freeze, they look totally beatific. We also are on Monday, April 3rd, going to have more experiences wrapped up with a big event Monday night, April 3rd, with Connie and Andrew and Wowza and Maureen. So I'm going to put into the chat box all the information. By the way, the March 28th event is still happening, but it's not going to happen at the Wisdom. There was a permit problem, it turned out, with the Wisdom. So instead of meeting in downtown LA, we're going to meet on Venice Beach. And I'll put the links into the chat box. It does look like our beloved Twin Ray are back. Welcome back, beloveds. You're muted, though. We're not hearing your audio. Try now. No. Now, it's funny. It doesn't show that you're muted, but your audio isn't coming through. And you just froze again. Why don't, while they kind of pull it together, Kristen, can we do a salome?
Yes, I was getting that memo from Spirit. It's time for music. And I have to say, so much is coming into focus for me tonight. You know, years ago in my early 20s, I had one of the most powerful dreams where I was visited by a guide and I saw the in-between realms and this kind of golden machine with all these gears, and a scroll was unrolled before me. And I was told that humans coming into this earthly plane were born into 12 categories of mission. And I was shown that my mission was called Map of the Stars. And I've heard that term so many times tonight, and I'm feeling like I have shown up for the divine appointment here. And it was told to me that Map of the Stars, that my mission was to help illumine and help people remember their light and connect their light, that we are all stars and we've forgotten that we're all connected and that we can remember these light grids. And so tonight I'm just feeling that. I'm like getting new parts of the puzzle and it just feels so divinely aligned. So as I'm saying this, remember everyone here, you are a star and we can all just tune into each other even more.
You are playing your part so perfectly, Kristen. And Joanna just read, oh my God, that is so beautiful. I'm crying. And lots of people right away are relating to that. So please shine your light of love and music upon us, my friend.
Okay.
And explain to people about Salome's.
Yeah, so Salome, a few years after that dream, I was in water and I also heard my higher self or my higher guide say, I had been doing sound healing for many years and I heard the name of your specific style of soul singing is called Solome. And I received this kind of encoding that it is light, so soul, SOL, weaving with Om, the vibration of the universe. And again, tonight we've been talking about how light and sound and resonance weave together. So we're going to dive into an experience now that is, I feel fully that it is a co-creative experience. So I'm going to tune in to you. Please just focus on that grid, that map of the stars that we are. Send your light. We're all connecting. I will be receiving the messages, the melodies, the resonance. There might be words, there might not be words, but I will bring through this piece that's never been born yet. Solome. Here we go. Love you all so much. Birth
I'll send her love and twinkles and appreciation. How she holds us so beautifully.
Oh,
Ah,
what a joy. Love you all.
what's it like for you as you're bringing that through? Like what?
You know, it just starts to flow. It's almost like watching, when it's really in flow, it's almost like watching and hearing a beautiful movie that's playing through, and or something that it's hard to explain, but it's just this kind of liquid revealing. It is. It's like it reveals itself in the perfect time.
Mm,
And I heard someone coming on and singing along, which was so beautiful. I'm so excited for that moment in time that I think is in the near future, where we're going to be able to sing together in Zoom, like really sing together. I think it's really close. And when that happens, we're going to have to do something very spectacular.
absolutely. You know, she talked about how she is bringing through her mission, and I really want to encourage all of us to support Kristen. And there's a wonderful way to do it.
Oh.
Her website is kristenhoffman.com. That's her name. Notice there's two N's at the end there. And I want to invite everybody to go to the upper right-hand corner where you can, where it says payment and membership, and do what I did, become a member. She's very generous, and you can come in at $11.33 or $77. And one of the wonderful things she provides is once a month, second Sunday, 3:00 Pacific time, 6:00 Eastern. I am there with Kristen Hoffman, along,
Yes, you are.
along with many of the other people that are right here with us, Nitya and Sylvie and so many others that are regulars. And it's a wonderful opportunity to commune with Kristen every month. You provide support for her. We need to support our earth angels. We need to support our artists. And it's
Thank
good
you.
because she knows she's got a little bit coming in, or a lot coming in, as everybody comes in and donates. And I also want to acknowledge her father who's watching. We love Henry Hoffman, who's in the Zoom room with us. Thank you, Henry, for doing such a wonderful job bringing this earth angel into our world, and providing her all the support she can support us in all the wonderful ways that she does.
Oh, thank you, Scott. And I just want to say, every month it has been such a sacred blessing and space and family. I'm so grateful for the Sonic Soul family gatherings each month. So if you feel a calling, please come join us. It is a space of love and deep dialogue, and a lot of beautiful, I would say, awakening for all of us. We're really, each time there's just something super coherent and beautiful that blossoms open. So,
Yeah,
and Scott, I'm so grateful that you come every month. Thank you so much.
absolutely. It's emblazoned. So, and we're gonna have one actual closing song from Kristen. So we have a little more Kristen Hoffman tonight. But I do believe our beloved Twin Ray are back after blowing the circuits out. Welcome back.
Thank you,
Thank
beloved.
you, beloved. We actually watched it happen. We were in the middle, and we moved our hand, and I saw this light go, and then we weren't there anymore.
Yeah, our network hasn't quite shut off like that before, but it did, and it's perfect. Thank you so much. It's so good to come back and hear the angelic choir through your sacred sonic alchemy, beloved Kristen, as well. Thank you.
We love you so much.
Yes. So where were we?
You were just beginning to go into the astrological alignment that's happening now.
Yes. Yeah. So as we were sharing that wee moment ago, that every sacred site and megalithic structure has been coded to these specific alignments with the sun and with the stars. And this time that we're coming into, we're on the eve of a harmony time, which is a trigger event that brings in this new influx of this, what's known as cosmic radiation, cosmic rays, or plasmic energy. And that comes through our atmosphere and stratosphere and hits the big crystalline core, the heart of Gaia, the big ringing bell, the crystal bowl in the center of her heart. And as that plasmic energy comes in, it creates these slow standing sound waves, which are ley lines. Basically, the song of Gaia, her grid system lights up in these harmony times. And this is a new event. It's only occurred since the end of 2017, because we've actually come out of a magnetic repulsion zone, which is just a fancy way of saying coming out of a plasmic cloud, which basically would act as a shield against cosmic radiation. So that means we're receiving this massive influx. And cosmic energy, cosmic radiation, or plasma energy, it mutates the human genome. It mutates all species, all sentient life on this planet. And everyone that's seen a cymatic demonstration of vibration of water, vibration of sands, particulates, with certain vibrations and harmonies, creates different geometric structures and different templates. And that's exactly what's happening to our Earth. So this energy is coming in, the bell, the crystal singing bowl of Gaia's heart is being rung, and then there's this whole complex geometric web of a grid structure that's being architected. And why that's important is mainly because that's the form holding template of our living reality.
And so since 2017, it used to be that when we would mark and measure harmony times, they would only be a day or two.
Yeah, like hours. Yeah.
And sometimes even hours,
and
exactly.
What we mean by that is that this energy would only last for a couple of hours or a day at max.
But now, and all the way until 2024, these harmony times are getting longer and longer and longer. And so what does that mean? What does that mean for the planet? What does that mean for the people? It means that when the grids are in harmony, are coherent, anything that is not coherent will be brought up to the surface. Anything that is not resonant within the resonant field must come to the light. And that is very much what's happening right now as this Pluto moves into Aquarius, and has been since 2017 specifically.
So the energy is obviously different to the planetary alignments, but what happens when the planetary alignments come in, there's more of a structure that's utilizing this plasmic energy that structure these grids. And so as we just shared, that if you can imagine that that's a form holding template of the reality that we experience as a collective, we are moving into a new paradigm, and everyone knows that there's an awakening that's happening, and it happens for many, many years. It's just getting more intense. The energy is getting stronger and stronger. So there's a question that we just saw pop up that says, why 2017?
We already saw
and
it
which
come through.
Basically it's because the position of that Earth, as we are in a heliocentric model, as everything's spiraling with the sun, our solar system has come out of a plasmic cloud. When we were inside that plasmic cloud within our galaxy, that was like a defense shield against the plasmic radiation coming in. As we're coming out of that, we lost that shield.
The electromagnetic field of the Earth is weakening.
And the electromagnetic Earth, the field is also changing. We're having a partial pole shift, so that norms a partial allowing more energy to come in, more of this cosmic radiation to come in. And what this means is that if you can visually just sort of see the Earth as a living entity, it's a living body of intelligence. Of course she is. And each one of you are cells on the planet. Now, there's different energy sources that is like life force that comes onto our planet and sustains our planet. So there's electromagnetic energy, there's gamma waves energy, there's also what we've been speaking about, plasmic and cosmic energy. And so during these harmony times, all of the smaller energy lines get inducted into these much larger cosmic lines. It's sort of like they blanket across the earth. So what that does, it's called harmony, because there's these nodes where the energy crosses over and creates these intersection points. There's these toroidal fields. So it's like chalices, essentially. So when you go to sacred places, when they get activated during equinoxes and solstices, there's this powerful discharge. And when we have groups meditating and harmonically connecting to this energy, it inducts your heart's field, your electromagnetic heart's field, into a greater field. This is where it changes your brainwave states. This is where you feel more connected. It can be healing as well. This is a time where the entire planet and all the grid structure starts getting literally weaved together so that it becomes one cohesive grid. Now, it may be harmony for some, but it can be a lot of disharmony for others. And what that means is that, if there are certain misinformation within your field, or there's certain, dissonance that's in the field or in the body, it comes up
or in the
more rapidly.
psychology of the person.
Yeah, so this is a time where there's more powerful manifestation. This is a time where there's greater connection because the grids are getting lit up. This is a time where what we're seeing is that there's more time that we're getting influx with this energy, and it's mutating because all light.
Did you notice their audio is out, Kristen?
Oh my God.
It's good. It's great.
Not for me. It's good. It's good.
It only went out once for a few seconds. It's all good, Twin Ray.
Okay, good. So the reason why this is a big deal is because it's changing the very species of the human species, and it's also changing all the different species on our planets, because all light is programmed genetic information. And so as we're receiving this cosmic influx, and it's coming in through 3 different ways: the atmosphere, stratosphere, reverberating off the crystalline core, and reflecting from our sun. So the neutrinos and the photons of light are recording this new information that we're receiving. So what this means is that there's a higher potential to cultivate this into your body. So to raise your light quotient. Your light quotient is important because it reflects your life force, the life force of your organs, the life force of your endocrine system, the life force of your biology. So this is a very powerful time to sort of recharge your cosmic batteries, basically. And as we're moving into this equinox, we're also having Pluto move into the energy field of Aquarius, which is seismic. And there's a old saying that goes that when Pluto's happening in astrology,
nothing else matters.
Yeah, because Pluto is really it's the rebirther. It is
the transformer.
Yeah,
it is forced transformation.
Yeah, it's the deliverer. His death and rebirth.
Deliverance. Yeah,
and Pluto is also in the mythos is Hades, the lord of the underworld, or the unconscious minds. So all the unconscious aspects of the mind come up, and there's this pioneering, transformative essence that comes through with Pluto. And being in Aquarius, this is the first time that us as a collective have ever experienced this. And we are in the age of Aquarius. So Pluto moving into the energy field of Aquarius and staying for the next 3 months, then he'll go in retrograde, and he'll come back in 2024 and spend the entire 2024 and the next amount of years. This is a big deal because every single thing within the unconscious mind of the collective is being transformed, is literally going through
a forced transformation, a forced awakening.
Yeah.
And how wonderful. and how necessary, and how everyone has prayed for this on some level, somewhere inside of them, known or unknown, because that's what you're here for. You came for this awakening, you came for this force transformation, and you knew that maybe it'd be a little bit uncomfortable, but you were the pillar of light that was needed on the planet to go ahead and bring that energy and hold that space while everyone else goes through their awakening.
Yeah, and it's already happened. It's very much in your face over the last few years as the global societal impact has shifted dramatically. But Pluto in Aquarius is speaking to the humanitarian. So Aquarius represents the humanitarian. It represents advancement in technology. It represents manifesting the greatest love. And the beautiful synchronicity with Pluto and Aquarius, because Aquarius is a love sign, actually. It's known as a fixed sign, but in ascendant astrology, it's a love sign because the only fixed state in the universe is love. And so there's three different states, three different signs. There's cardinal, fixed, and mutable. We call them power, love, and wisdom, essentially, because so every time a planet goes into a different sign, it represents a different theme of love or wisdom or greater power,
and how that manifests itself. Yes.
And on Pluto's surface, when there's been photos taken of Pluto, there's actually like a heart, like literally carved on Pluto's surface. Like it's not complete though, so it represents the
to completion of the heart. How beautiful is that? How absolutely divine and perfect and just wonderful that is. And to recognize that is that what's happening right now as Pluto is bringing that deliverance, it is for humanity to unify and bring the rest of that heart and bring the rest of that connection and complete the circuit, as all energy wants to do is complete itself, and all it can do is complete itself, in fact.
Yes, and so the Pluto, one has to go through Pluto, one has to go through their unconscious mind, one has to face themselves in order to meet themselves, to truly meet themselves. And so the Aquarian age is this new becoming, this new time that actually started back in the 60s, 70s portal. That's when the energy of the Aquarius age started dawning. And now it's coming in full force. And we have Pluto, which is a very powerful planet coming into that sign, which really represents humanity rising. We've already gone through that restructuring of society, and now there's this new emergence occurring.
And in March specifically, wonder if anybody else really has felt it. Has anyone else felt a quickening in the last 2 weeks? Anyone else felt that? Because that is why reality is shifting right now. Because as Pluto moves into Aquarius, and this prepares and sets the stage for what comes next, reality starts to move much faster. The density that has been weighing the planet down, essentially, and humanity is also rising and lifting. And so you'll start to feel that quickening. That quickening is happening inside of your cells as well. It's happening through the light packets that are coming in. And if you're cultivating, if you're aware of this, you get to work with that light to bring that into your cells and bring that divinity in and send it out.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening right now.
And there's a good astrological connection to this, because a lot of planets are going direct, and there's a stellium inside Aries, which just basically means is that there's multiple planets stacked in a specific house or energy field. And so when there's all these planets that are stacked in one energy field, that's a lot of energy generating and generating and generating. And as we're moving into Aries, Aries represents, like we shared earlier, the divine initiator. It initiates the internal alchemical cycles. Aries is the head. Aries is the fornex, which is the tuning fork inside the limbic system of your brain. So when the frequency of light comes in through the retinas, goes in through the fornex and comes into the pituitary pineal gland, that light codex starts changing the information that restructures the neuroplasticity of the brain, and it actually starts ringing that vibratory change of frequency inside your pineal gland. So when this happens, if you the best thing you can do is bring in that solar nourishment, bring in the prana of the sun rising and setting. And when you do that, you can consciously bring that into your pineal gland and circulate the energy there, and it will start creating new secretions, new biological secretions. Those secretions help upregulate your DNA. They help upregulate the chemical compounds, the biochemistries of your body. And this is when we get into the subject of inner alchemy, this sacred science that speaks about the stars and the planets of the stars marrying with the biology. How all of your organs are a micro representation of the stars, and your organs act like the software of the hardware of the brain. So, for example, the inner climate of your biology, being your heart and your thymus and your lungs and your liver and your spleen and your pancreas and your large and small intestine and kidneys, all of them, they relate to the elements and they relate to the planets. So when the planets go through these different rebirth processes, your alchemy is restructuring. The interesting thing is just like you upgrade your software on your computer or your phone, you're upgrading the operating system. The universe is dialed in to do this for you. You just have to be aware of it. So when you're aware of these alignments happening, your emotional body goes through an upgrade where you become more stabilized, where you can cleanse out the files of the emotional body quite effortlessly, because you're partnering with that energy that does it automatically. So this is what's occurring on mass right now. And we're also entering into a wormhole. And we know that there's a lot of transmission here. There's a lot of information, and we want to make sure that we can emphasize the importance of this time, because as we move into this next new moon marks the time of an eclipse cycle as well. During an eclipse cycle, it's what's called a wormhole, where the moon and the sun go through these eclipse phases, and the sun and the moon represents how you see the world, how the world sees you, how you feel about the world, how the world feels about you, your soul information, your soul contracts, your soul agreements. It all represents by the relationship with the sun and moon, the masculine and feminine aspect, and the polarity integration that you have to be doing inside. So when we move into this wormhole, which happens at this next new moon, this is where you can take the sideways elevator and literally end up anywhere in life. This is where you can manifest in a blink of an eye or a click of a finger. You know, this is where
your reality can also shift and fall apart quite easily as well, if it is in your highest and best, and that your soul and your oversoul and your higher self are calling that in.
Yeah. And why does something fall apart? It's only because the blueprint itself has been, distorted somehow, and it needs to be rebuilt. And so that's only when there's then that experience of life is falling apart is actually so the proper pieces can fall into place.
The sideways elevator is all about surrender. It's all about trusting with the entirety of your being, no matter what it appears to be, no matter what it feels like, or even what your conscious mind or unconscious mind can see and perceive. It's about trusting that you are on path, that you're exactly where you need to be, and allowing that sideways elevator to take you wherever you're going to go next, for your next adventure, for your next learning, and for your next level of the ascension.
Yeah. And, when you get really, really masterful in understanding and charting the stars and charting the biology, what's really the end result of this is, well, imagine if when it's time to transition from the body, that you have no fear at all. Imagine if you could leave the body at will whenever you needed to, and you actually have structured a light body or a field of coherent information and energy that you could transition at will and use the stars as charts to travel to different destination points throughout this galaxy or other galaxies or even other universes. That's all possible once you understand the simple language of your higher self. And that's really what it's about when we reveal these deeper mysteries. It's about having ultimate freedom. Ultimate freedom means that you're no longer bound at any level, any dimension of any reality, and you have mastery on every level. You can operate at any level. And when you understand the alchemical phases of the planets, of the stars, of our position within it, the biology, the biocircuitry, the physical expression and how it connects to the energetic expression, when you understand it, you can apply it, and it gives you more purpose and meaning to actually infuse the different energies that are coming through to utilize in a very practical way of your life. So there's teachings of, okay, it's certain time to manifest right now, a certain time to create right now, a certain time to pause. To pull back your energy, to go more internal. There's certain times not to start projects, but to complete those projects. There's sometimes to tidy up certain unfinished business, certain karmic relationships that have to be completed, or there's certain things that are in, the physical body that have to be dealt with. So when you're on the pulse, and this is why we spend a lot of our time, teaching beloveds how to really understand these broadcasts, because sometimes it's so overwhelming. You just don't understand what's going on. Like, why is my life looking like this? Why am I feeling like this? Or why is the collective experiencing this? It sometimes doesn't make sense. And this is just one lens of how to tighten up the focus of really self-mastery, of knowing that you're beyond this physical body. And when you lead with that, you can step into greater mastery that's in this body and beyond this body. So this is a little bit of an expression of inspiration of what's happening right now, and the internal alchemy and the external alchemy of the stars that's occurring for the ascension, the true ascension, like it's literally encoded and written in the stars, the ascension of humanity. And there's so much support. There's so much support for everyone if you're opening up to this. And an easy way, we'll give a one simple teaching that anyone can do at any time. And even if you know nothing about astrology, ask to connect to the ascended aspect of that planet. So whether you're wanting to connect with Jupiter, for example, and you want more wisdom, and you would like more expansion in your life, more love, the name for Jupiter is also Jove, and Jove comes from the word love, and dove, the peace and love that comes from that expansion. So Jupiter, the great benefactor, if you want more of that energy in your life, you can just visualize connecting with Jupiter and bringing that essence into asking for the ascended aspect and bringing that into your heart, into your body, and feeling that come through. So
there are many, many, many little tricks and connections and practices we can give you related to this.
Yes.
And that's a beautiful one.
Yeah, it is, because your astral body, your astrological body is a direct mirror of the stars in the sky. So what's happening in the stars is happening in your astral body, because you are made of stardust. Your left hand is made from different components of different stars and different planetary matter from different parts of the universe than your right hand. Like, you're literally bombarded with these cosmic particles every single moment it's coming into your body. This energy is available for you. So your very makeup is of the stars. So how could you not be influenced by them?
And are you utilizing this
Exactly.
power? Are you recognizing that the stars is a cosmic clock, that it is all about presenting that awakening, that the entire universe is supporting the ascension of humanity. Are you supporting the ascension of humanity? Are you doing the work, the hard work that it takes? And we know you, beloved, show up every week to be here, and you do the work, and you do your utmost to live in love and harmony as often as possible. And the stars are a map to help you do that even more.
Yeah, for
greater expansion.
Yeah, for example, tomorrow we have a meditation with our beautiful community and beloved Sangha, and we'll be meditating here on the dome and right at the node. And what we love to inspire is transmitting on nodes, because anything that you've accomplished, any energetics that you've embodied, anything that has been your wounds that have become your medicine, that have become basically the greater lessons, because any point of suffering ultimately becomes a greater perspective of overcoming the small self. When you go to sacred places, certain coherent centers of energy, you transmit that energy out to the entire world, because nodes are literally like megaphones into the collective mind. And so when we come together in peace and harmony, and we're sending that positive energy, we're sending that the accomplishments from an emotional enlightened perspective, where you've overcome the shadow aspects, so you've overcome the woundings that no longer serve you, and you transmit your pure heart out. You don't know what impact that could have, but that force of energy could just tap someone on the shoulder that was completely asleep, and they wake up because there's all of a sudden this surge of energy that's coming into their body, and you may have played a role in that. So the inner work that you do always helps the collective species, not just with harmony time, but also to the morphogenic field, because we're all connected to that field.
Every time. And we have so many free gifts, but one of the free gifts that we definitely and strongly advise and suggest is this Golden Age Ascension kit that we have. It has all of these beautiful transmissions and meditations and little videos and decrees, all sorts of really useful, powerful, super high frequency communication to your cells, so that you can really ignite your own grids during these times. And of course, you can use this at any time of the year as well, but certainly on these PowerPoints, these powerful times.
There was one meditation that we created because many can't get to a node, don't know where sacred sites are. So we encoded the certain harmonic frequencies into this meditation, so you can do the meditation. So it's sort of like you going to a sacred site, and you can do it in the comfort of your living room. And we've created certain invocations as well, because sound, the sacred spoken words, that is sound and vibration. And so when you speak into the field, you can help structure that field and work in a co-creative manner with the field. So you're in communication. The field wants to consistently work with you. The universe is always at your side, by your side, and helping and uplift you. So we also put there's a certain code that is
it's the code.
It's a codex for the genetics. So it just helps open up, because there's certain imagery, certain symbology, certain sacred geometry speaks to your unconscious mind and speaks to the unconscious patterns. And we've created a certain hertz frequency range.
DNA, it's like a DNA healing code.
It's a DNA activation, but it's also to help upregulate your immune system, because we notice that during these times, the immune system gets rebirth, and the nervous system can receive a lot of surging of information as well. So it's to recalibrate.
Exactly, because as the stars are these incredible broadcast systems, you're receiving this influx of energy that you really need to be able to open your cells a certain way to be able to receive that and be able to hone that. And this is very valuable.
Mhm.
This would be a wonderful time, if it's all right, for us to go to your website and show people around a little bit. And then we can take a short little break and then come back for the final part. But there's so many things that they offer us at twinray.com. It's incredible how much they've created. They have remarkable courses. So if you go to twinray.com, this is the homepage. I'm just going to point out a few things, and then maybe the two of you can also direct me to a couple places.
Yes, we can do that.
But I want to encourage everyone to do the Miracle Mentorship. I was very fortunate to join it right away. They provide multiple online broadcasts every month, questions and answers, deep. They give us projects and things to do, to learn. We drink our special miracle tea of the month. It's really quite wonderful. And you know, to be honest, because I have so many people on my show, I'm offered a lot of things to do. And the only course that I committed to taking this year was the Miracle Mentorship course. And I'm so grateful that I did that. I also want to point out something else that I personally use. If you go back to shop, and they've got, again, a lot of amazing things, including jewelry. But I want to talk about their bioseuticals, and I want to start with the golden elixir. And I don't think I've ever promoted a nutritional thing on this show, but this little fellow, you talk about shifting energy. I do it. I start my day on an empty after I do a little meditation, and I put it under my tongue, and it's gold. And it literally, well, you could describe what it does. All I can say is it's very beautiful. I like how I feel when I'm using this golden elixir. But if you want to share a little bit about the internal part of it, what is this? It's doing all these wonderful things for me.
Okay, so
That's adorable.
that's adorable. We had no idea that you'd be sharing about the gold.
No.
So this is a formula that we've been working on for several years, and basically it's a formula with alchemical gold. What alchemical gold is that we take 24 carats solid gold, and it goes through certain calcinations where it goes through a refining process, and it refines, and then burning it, and then storing it in the earth, and then going through that process again and again and again. It's a long process, but ultimately it changes the molecular structure of solid gold into edible gold. And it's between, the magic number is between 15 nanometers to 30 nanometers, where gold can actually have an effect on the body. So this is completely different to actually like, you know, the ormus, for example. Ormus is more of a discharge, and also like nano gold is colloidal gold. It's different to colloidal gold. This is actual real gold that has gone through an alchemical process. Then what we do is we bind the gold molecules with different herbal nootropics, and what happens is that the gold becomes this superconductor for the body. So at that size, when you take it sublingually, it passes through the blood-brain barrier.
Yes.
And it goes into the limbic system of the brain. And when it goes into the limbic system of the brain, it starts congealing at the amygdala. And the amygdala is where all the sort of the senses and the deep-seated and rooted programming and conditioning is seated within the brain. And it's also where a lot of trauma, of stress has been basically programmed deep into the cells of the body as well.
Producing cortisol.
Yeah. So what gold does, it starts going in and starts unbinding all the cortisol responses through the nervous system. And it's a superconductor. So real gold is literally a conductor. It amplifies the signal. So in antiquity, what they would do is only elite families would be able to have gold, and utilize the gold, and they would use it to for their children as they would be birthed, basically, because through a certain period of time, as the baby's brain is creating new axons and neurons and these whole neural net process and neuroplasticity of the brain, putting gold and introducing gold into the baby system, it would allow the brain to process information a lot, like to 100 times faster, and more neurons and axons will be able to be wired. So they become a lot smarter. And by taking this clinically, this is
more connected to the divine.
Clinically, this is proven to actually increase your IQ by anywhere up to 20%. We're just using this gold as well. And when you meditate with it, it allows you to absorb so much light. Like, you become this fountain of light. And this specific formula, it's based on not just gold, which is the metal connection to the sun, but every one of the metallurgy of each one of the planets has been combined in this formula with the corresponding herbology of that planet as well. So when you take it, you're taking the essence of the entire solar system into the body in a perfect harmonic state. So you're teaching the body and all its organs to be in harmony with the stars. So we worked on this, you know, we love alchemy. We're literally professional alchemists, and it's one of our favorite
physical alchemy and energetic alchemy.
Yeah, mainly physical alchemy is like is the practical stuff that you can actually make things with. But this is a really powerful nootropic. It alleviates stress. When you start taking it for the first week to 2 weeks, your dreams become so bright and vivid and lucid, and it allows
you to remember them much better.
Yeah, you have these almost ceremonial-like dreams. And you really know there's something called the gold high. When you take, you know, a certain amount, there's this rush that happens where your body just becomes lit up, because you're giving, your body produces gold, but in very small amounts. And there's only one part of the body that produces it, which is the sexual fluids. So the sexual secretions, the only way to get that to the brain is to raise that energy up into the brain and circulate that up into the brain. So when you use a external alchemy like this gold alchemy compound, it actually brings it straight into the brain, like a brain medicine. So we could go on and on about this, but it's been secret for very, very, very long. And, you know, to be honest, in antiquity, they would use gold to conduct the field and use gold to actually enforce the field, because gold is actually utilized for anti-gravitic devices. You can't get anti-gravity without gold. So utilizing gold is the only way for anti-gravitic lift. And that science has been proven. We're very, very pleased to announce that there is anti-gravitic devices that have been created. The main component to this is gold.
That's another show altogether.
Because through the double torus, that magnetic compulsion zone that creates that toroidal field, in the center of it, there has to be a gold structure. And when you take gold and you go into a coherent field, with a coherent field, meaning you go to a nodal point and your field is in resonance and is in coherence with your heart, then it literally brings this surge of energy and information into your cells. So again, we can speak about it for a long time, but that's just a little bit about what it does.
And it's true. I didn't tell them that I was going to talk about this, but this morning when I took it and I had my experience, I said, oh my God, I've got to tell my Global Peace Tribe about this tonight, because we're going to have the Twin Ray with us. So that's why kind of a spontaneous moment here. Thank you so much. I've put the link into the chat box where you can get it. We're going to take a very brief break for the Global Peace Tribe announcements, and then we'll be right back with the final part 3 with the Twin Ray.
We are one. We are one. We
Hey, everybody. What a wonderful show, huh? Well, there's a few important announcements that I want to make. First off, Christy Michaels, who I believe is here, I saw her in the Zoom room. We're getting very, very close to Easter Sunday. And every year she does the Magdalene Moonrise Easter celebration. And it's Sunday night, April 9th, that's Easter Sunday. And if you live in the San Francisco Bay Area, you can go to the actual live experience. It's happening in Novato, that's up just north of San Francisco in Marin County. Or you can also join us live. There's a live broadcast. And she's got some wonderful people lined up. She always does. She's got the amazing priestess Elizabeth Kelly. She's been on the show many times. The brilliant musical artist Gary Malkin. Gary's been on the show many times, and several other kind of leaders in the field. Dan Morse, he was recently on our show. So definitely get the information. I'll put the link into the chat box. And Sunday night, Easter Sunday night, would be a wonderful time for you to really tune into the other half. You know, we've learned so much about Yeshua, also known as Jesus, but really, as the rise of the divine feminine is now taking place on our planet, thank God, the Mary Magdalene energy is especially welcome and grateful. So
we will be live streaming too, Scott.
Yes, I did say that. I did say that.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Christy's voice coming from somewhere in the cosmos, somewhere in the Zoom room. There she is.
Yeah.
So definitely, Christy, you can put anything you want in the chat box, and I'll also put the link in, and we're really looking forward to it.
Well, I think tonight's show is so apropos to what we're talking about, because even just looking at the twin rays, these two embody the sacred. At every moment, in every waking, I mean, they're so consistently honoring the sacred. And that's what this whole celebration with the Magdalene Easter is, honoring her as the divine, sacred, awakened woman, enlightened woman. And everybody drops in and joins together. And it's such an extraordinary thing. And the sacred masculine are there. And it's just, there's nothing like it. The energy that gets emitted from that kind of heart-centered. So thank you, Scott. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for putting that together. Thank you very, very much. I also want to remind everybody, I was beginning to talk about it before, come to our Global Peace Tribe retreat. You can come for a day, you can come for the week, you can connect and meet Omashar and a lot of the love coaches, Kristen Hoffman, for the first few days. It's going to be really, really special. And so if any of you have any questions about it, we've got like 2 beds left. I got a big mansion, literally 10-minute drive from Los Angeles airport. So people can easily fly in. If possible, I or somebody will pick you up. Otherwise, it's a very short Uber ride to this beautiful mansion with a hot tub and the big gardens and grass. We're going to have amazing events and experiences, including Shri and Kira and their shaman. So please make it happen. Join us. It's going to be this remarkable series of experiences starting on March 28th, going all the way to April 3rd. Connie and Andrew and Wowza and Pato and Antoinette, a lot of the people you've seen on this show. So that's going to be really, really special. I also want to put in a little plug for Light Touch. You know, Light Touch has been a big part of the Awakening World, early setting it alive for the Global Peace Tribe. And wonderful Jay, who I think is also in the house, has put together a couple of videos that I want to play for us. And here's the first one. That's right. We can send light touch blessings by text. And we do that. There's a whole group of us that text each other every day, sending light touch blessings and just really making requests. There's Jan and Jay. How's your internet connection tonight? Is it good? We can't hear you. You're muted.
I think it's better. They reset it, so hopefully.
Great. So yeah, and we're gonna at the very closing song, we're gonna all do some light touch as Kristen ushers us into the golden age. And you can learn all about light touch by going to the website. It's light-touch.me. And it's all about good fortune and miracles. What would you like to add, Jay?
Yeah, it's a daily practice. You invoke miracles. Invocation is a lost art. It's ancient to actually bring through us, all these divine properties. So we practice every day and we all bless each other and everything moves forward with ease and grace. And it's different than struggling to, accomplish our goals. It just kind of happens.
Yeah, beautiful. And Jay and Jan create some wonderful videos for us. So we're going to close out our Global Peace Tribe announcements with a little Zen wisdom. Thank you, Jay, for those videos. And hopefully we're also getting some wisdom jewels happening again. But we've got the perfect source of wisdom jewels with us tonight, and that is the Twin Ray. So I am going to go back to them for our third and final part of their amazing presentation tonight. And here they are.
Blessings, beloveds. So we're open to answering any questions and just really being spontaneous.
What we'd love to do in our miracle mentorship is questions and answers, from personal to the deepest, most yearning questions someone has in their heart and their mind for their life, to what's going on in the macro. And this feels like a perfect time to answer some questions.
And as we wait for them to come through, just want to honor Christy as well. Thank you so much
for your Christy.
For your beautiful, beautiful words, so touching. And that's really our purpose, to inspire everyone and anyone to live the sacred, to acknowledge life as the sacred. This life is so sacred and holy. And when we live in that way, it becomes magical. The mundane becomes magical. Routine becomes ritual. It becomes a beautiful expression of the heart, how life was always meant to be lived. And so just honoring you and all the work that you're doing, and blessings to you.
Yes, and recognizing that one of the most important things is to honor the sacred universe. Honoring the sacred must first begin with the sacred universe. And what does that mean? And how does one live in a sacred universe as that expression of the divine in all moments?
Yes.
And that is very much what the Magdalene spoke of.
And so beautiful, Scott. Yes, thank goodness. Thank that the divine feminine is so present, has risen, and the male expression of divine masculine is to surrender and to honor the feminine and serve the feminine. And that is, you know, such a beautiful joy that I get to spend my life in dedication to the divine feminine, and how we have to spend it towards others, but also inside ourselves, how we balance that polarity inside ourselves.
Exactly. And it is the divine feminine's place to trust the masculine, to learn to trust the masculine within, and thus the representation of that counterpoint in the other. And that divine union can then take place, but it first happens within.
Yeah.
The divine union is here first, and then it gets shared. That is when union can be true union.
The two of you are such a beautiful model of how the masculine and the feminine can honor and support each other. It's really so inspiring watching the two of you. We do have questions. The first one is, what kind of physical diet and nutrition of the twin ray, besides the alchemical elixirs, support such a high frequency living, awakened being, and loving service? And really, I didn't set that question up, but since they asked,
Seems like you did.
there are these wonderful bioseuticals. I use them. In fact, most of it is gone, but I can show you this. Here, let me go on. This is, you recognize it's got the cosmic clay, and it's got enlightened earth in here. Oh, you can't see it. There you go.
You can't see that.
This is the remnants of my bioceutical shake that I take every day. So thank you, Dorina, for asking that question. And would you be willing, beloveds, to talk a little bit about the bioseuticals?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely. So yes, the bioseuticals, we have around 30 different formulas. I think more actually. So there's a staple, and the staples are the earth, the crystalline clay. So clay, certain clay, we get certain K-rectite clay from the Sacred Valley here in Oregon, where the Cascade Mountain Range, there's certain deposits and there's certain clay sources that are on frequency nodes, and they're
that we have worked on directly to heal, to fix, to then be able to really make that clay very, very potent and special and pretty magical.
And what this is, so similar to the gold, but not as powerful, but it has a lot of M state minerals. So M state, basically like the tiny particles of gold and certain noble metals, are in a spin state. So they haven't come into a physical expression yet, but they're in a spin state. And this clay, it's K-rectite, so it doesn't expand the stomach like certain clays can, like bentonite clay, for example.
It
that's
doesn't make
expanded.
You bloated or expand like a sponge.
But basically, it's a crystalline substance that helps the body cleanse the physical body. And there's certain elements in clays called ligands, that what they are, they're like gates that go into the body, and they bind certain mycotoxins like heavy metals and certain, vapors that have been polluting the physical body or the organs, and it unbinds them and then binds them and pulls them out of the body. So that's one aspect that the clays do, but it also creates a natural source of collagen. Crystalline silicon matrix is a natural source of collagen and elastin as well. So it enhances youth and anti-aging properties. So it's very cleansing. You can put it topical on your body and do baths. And then if you can give that water to your plants, then your plants become extremely healthy as well, and become, if you have a garden, you can put that water in your garden, and then that becomes programmed with your own energy field, which then gives you medicine for what your body actually needs, what enzymes and what's actually micro components that the body needs to absorb. And
why would you want clay to bind to the molecules, of the toxins, of the heavy metals? Because for all of the people that do the work, that really spend time with releasing emotions and working on their mental bodies and working through their psychology, heavy metals hold are binding to those emotions, are binding to those mental patterns that are outdated, that are no longer able to serve the ascension, your ascension, and thus the ascension of humanity. And so you want something to bind those so that they can pull them out. This is going to help you tremendously through your emotional processes, through your mental processes, to bring about that stability, that peace, and that beauty that you are seeking, because all life seeks the sun.
Yeah, so the clays are very powerful. Like we start with an earthen ritual. What that means is we take the clays in the morning. We also have this magnesium source of ancient mineral magnesium that basically it's a natural source of magnesium that you drink, and magnesium is like one of the most important factors of the body. If you don't have magnesium or low magnesium, nothing operates, basically.
We called it magical magnesium.
Yeah, it is magical. But basically, you take clays, and this is like the grounding, so connection to earth. So you want to connect into the core of the earth. You also can do this by taking your feet off. Taking your feet off.
You want to keep your feet on.
Taking your shoes off and keeping your feet on, and grounding. Grounding in to the earth. That's a good grounding practice. So taking clays helps introduce that crystalline matrix into the body to rebuild it.
And then the cosmic clay.
Yeah. So
that's the enlightened earth play that we're talking about.
Well,
but the cosmic clay,
they all do. They're all different spectrum. There's sort of aspects of this one spectrum. So there's blue clay that's antiviral,
bacterial,
spasmodic, antibacterial, anti-pathogenic. It's the only clay in the world. Actually, it's been studied for 12 years by the Arizona University. That it's the only clay in the world that is an answer for superbugs and viruses and certain contagions as well. So it's a powerful, powerful natural answer to a lot of the superbugs and viruses that humanity is facing.
Biological warfare, essentially.
Yeah, and that's a powerful sort of blue avataric clay.
Yes.
But then we have greens as well. So we have like alkalining superfoods. One of our
But these aren't normal greens that you would see. This isn't kale, and this isn't a mix of those kinds of things. These are whole
superfoods. So Galactic Gaia, one of our products, it's got like over 72 different ingredients, and each one of those ingredients have anywhere from 50 to 500 different nutritional compounds. So if you can imagine each one of those ingredients having 50 to 500 nutrient compounds, and then there's 72 in total, it's like having one scoop of that is like having 1,000 salads.
And your body can utilize.
Yeah.
It's not going to sort of urinate it out.
Yeah, it's bioavailable, so your body can absorb it. So you just can't eat that amount of food. And because of the depletion in the soils, I mean, it's been scientifically validated that the soils have been depleted. Farmers haven't been instructed how to rotate the soils, how to change the soils as well. And so there's a lot of depletion of the nutrients in the soils. And so by the time it comes out of the soils, goes to the market or goes to the supermarket and then it goes through oxygenation and it loses its vital nutrients. So the life force isn't as strong as it could be. Now, we're not saying don't use, have fruit and vegetables or eat or support your local farmers. No, please do support your local farmers and your farmer market. But ultimately, we've just compounded everything into these that work synergistically together. And then we have more targeted formulas that are for the kidneys or for the adrenals or for the liver or for the respiratory system or
the brain, the mind.
Yeah. For the kinetic system, meaning the muscular system, if there's backs and aches and pains. So
well, what we would say is that we start with something we call the Super Six. It has the fundamentals. It's got your grounding. So you basically, everything we do is ritualized, right? So you take your morning clays, you do your grounding, you move on to the greens, you are connecting with the solar nourishment, and so the Super Six is helping with those rituals. And that's the one. That's the Super Six.
Yeah. And so that's a,
And then
that's a-
immortal monatomics.
I mean, we could spend literally hours on this subject alone, but to getting back to the question,
Yeah.
that's one very important component, because we really wanted to create something that can support our community and support anyone that wants to have a well-balanced diet but doesn't know basically maybe a good source of nutrition. And so what we believe in is that food becomes your entertainment when you have all of the nutrition needed. So when the medicine of food, once you utilize the herbs and you utilize the superfoods and your body is nourished, there's daily detox that happens just spontaneously. Your body gets rebuilt and you become vitalized and you nutrify the body with all these compounds. Then all your cravings for certain things that aren't life sustaining or life enriching starts falling away. And a lot of those cravings basically you no longer want. And you can then just choose to eat food for entertainment, but not for the nutrition that you need.
And what we've found through the hundreds of beloveds that are currently taking them, and maybe more now, we haven't checked in a long time.
Oh,
but
there's a lot.
there's a lot, maybe thousands, is that people are writing in all the time saying that they're barely eating these days, and yet they're feeling so much stronger, so much more vital, so much more empowered, and they can feel the light quotient in them growing from all of this consistently. And this is something that we hear all the time from people in their 20s, 30s, all the way up until 80s and probably beyond.
Yeah, and so that's one thing.
67, and here they are. I mean, this is what I just grabbed 2 of the jar. I've got the Super 6, and this is what I make my shake on, and it's true. People go, Scott, how do you get so much done? I'm 67. Using these products, the bioseuticals has really changed my reality. So, again, I don't normally push product on this show, but this is really, I encourage everybody, get the bioseuticals, try it, see how it changes. It's changed my life. Just as wisdom has changed my life, and the Miracle Mentorship has changed my life, so have the bioseuticals.
Thank you, beloved. And another one of our source of, I'm looking over here because on our altar we make bread. So we make our own bread with wild yeast from the atmosphere of our place, and we make this sacred bread. The
that
bread
doesn't mold and doesn't.
we put clay is in the bread as well, and it lasts. These breads last for
a long
I mean
time.
we've left them out for a month and it doesn't even mold. It's incredible. And then we put some of the galactic Gaia, like the green, on top of the bread and have that sometimes. But
oh yes, and galactic Gaia, by the way, is one of the best seasoners on almost anything. It's incredible. You can put it on as a season.
But mainly we live off maybe one smoothie a day. So we have our bioseuticals, we put them in a smoothie, and when you become more subtly attuned to more of the life force nourishment, so you're giving your body the inner alchemical sustenance and nurturing needed, then you can live off light. We've both been breatharians for a certain period of our life,
but never tried. It wasn't like, we're going to be.
Oh yeah, no, it was just we didn't eat because we didn't need to.
Because what happens is when you're so sustained, your mouth starts to fill up with these enzymes, and it's happening right now as I speak. I actually can't talk right now, but it's so intense that you can't eat anything. The light is so strong.
Yeah, they can, but eating's fun. Why not? Like, food alchemy is great. So why be a breatharian when you can enjoy the alchemy of Earth's bounty?
Yeah, so there are ways, and the bioseuticals that we've spent decades of our life traveling the world barefoot, picking up the codes, healing the earth, and the earth blessed us with all of the potentiality of all of these formulations, and with these jewels, and with the information. And so this is a synthesis of that gift from the earth to us and us to you in the best way we possibly can.
Yeah.
Apparently, they are being consumed by thousands because when Dorina tried to order, it shows as being out of stock.
Yeah. So okay. So let's definitely
Right,
give you
so
our love at Twin Ray, and then we'll have one of our beloveds to put an order in. They do, because we only do small batches as well. All of our community packs them together into the jars, and we do small batches. So it's really
bless them.
Yes. So
sing to them.
It's community run. Like everything we do, it's like, you know, our small in-house community packs them together, does mantras, sings to them as they're packing them as well. And a lot of it is you know, it takes a long time to powderize the formulations and then put them into a biodigestible and available state. But that's why we only do, you know, small batches of 100. But we're going to be growing more food here and using the land and using sacred technology, to help the production, and actually helps support the soils to change the actual soil matrix as well. So there's a lot that we're doing here, and to just to have sustainability, because ultimately what we suggest is, no matter what you do, just make sure it's sustainable. So what that sometimes means is, you know, you learn what helps sustain your body. You know, you can listen to your body. Your body will tell you when you eat something, you're like, I don't feel too good. I feel exhausted. I feel tired. And if that's the case, then listen. And when you eat certain things that your body's like, oh, give me more of that, that is amazing. You start feeling that.
Good sign.
And you also detox the things that your body's been programmed in the past. So yeah, that's what we do.
So we hope that answers your question.
Yes. Oh, by the way, we made something really special one time. We made popcorn. We made this
Galactic Gaia popcorn.
So we had sprouted organic corn. We took it through its, you know, a popping process and put Galactic Gaia on top of it. And
just a tiny bit of coconut oil, just a little bit.
And it tastes incredible. Like it really did. It's like, I was so surprised actually how.
Yes. Well,
Shakina Ma is a bit of a master chef in the kitchen when she chooses to be.
And so are you. Definitely is as well. And, you know, what we like to do is, because we do have this growing community here locally, we like to play with different possibilities and then give them to them and say, okay, here, this is something that we've tried and we've played with, and you'll really like this. And
oh yeah, we might make some
prayer cookies
tomorrow.
We might make prayer cookies for our beloveds tomorrow.
We make these cookies that are like that are what are they called? We call them
everything free
cookies, because there's no sugar, there's no gluten, there's no nothing in them, but they taste like
incredible.
Amazing.
They really are.
So we might make them, because we have beloveds coming tomorrow, so we might make them for them.
We'll see. So we take all of their prayers and we put them
into the cookies. So then they get to eat their prayers.
Yeah.
I want to bring it to the final two questions, if that's okay. And Joanna asked if there are ever retreats. They have a retreat taking place right now up in Ashland. Twin Ray are located in Ashland. They're doing the Miracle Mentorship Retreat right now. I would be there, except I was committed to being in Sedona at this time. So
next time.
So,
we will make sure that you're here.
So yes, they do retreats, and the key is join the Miracle Mentorship Program, because the retreats are primarily for the people that are actually studying closely with them. There are two questions that I'd love to ask, if it's okay. And the first one is from our wonderful friend, Christy, who wanted to know, what helped you move from the mundane to the divine? So that's one question. The other question is from Jane Mayer, wanting to know, since we've entered the age of Aquarius, when is this going to show up in the world? It's like, when is the world going to kind of change and show up in a more loving way? So that's Jay's question. So there's two questions for you, and then we'll conclude with a question from Omashar and an Omashar song.
Perfect.
Okay.
First question, simply presence, honoring divine presence, like moving out of the mundane is but coming into the resonance of presence, resonance of your heart, the present moment, being aware that your life is truly an offering to spirit. It's an offering to the divine. And when you live in that mentality, when you live with your heart first, you lead with your heart, with all that you do, and you cultivate more virtue, because all your organs, when they're operating in synergistic communication with each other, again, that's the software of the hardware here, your emotions and your virtues just shine effortlessly. So for us, just living with that full awareness and being absorbed in that awareness, not stepping out of that, and just shining love to all in all ways, that instantaneously changes your reality. Just show up in love, show up as your true authentic self, as love in all that you do, and all you'll experience is magic. Even when you think you're down, you're not. You'll just be lifted up back to love.
Beautiful. Christy wrote back that that's the perfect answer. Thank you. And then Jay's question, when are we going to see the changes in the external world? What do you have to say about that?
2 points.
Yes.
So what we always say, the golden age is going to be first experienced in communities. A community coherent field. The reason why that you don't see a lot of that is because the collective field is in a dissonance. There's a lot of dissonant frequency. There isn't that peace and harmony that we see in these communities that we are all a part of. When we're a part of these coherent fields, we experience that synergistic connection. Now, on the flip side, there is a technological revolution that's happening right now. And we're in the very center of many scientific breakthroughs that are occurring, that are solving real world problems.
We are at the apex of that.
We're going to start witnessing a lot of scientific breakthroughs in the collective audiences, and seeing these new energy devices, and in all different fields, whether it's agriculture, whether it's energy, whether it's housing and architecture. Food. Yes, whether it's whatever that may be, medical, every single industry is being transformed. And what ultimately we're seeing is more of a interconnection with the field, with the one unified field. This new science, this unified field science, which is just expressing in a modern language and clothed in a modern language, what the ancients have been speaking about since time immemorial, is that this new technology is enhancing. It's not depleting. It's not creating dissonance. So you're seeing that on the advent of all this new advanced technology. Now, the caveat here, well, as we see it, is that there could be a lot of looking for divinity within technology. Remember that this body, this biology, is the greatest technology possible. And anything that's working in resonance with this sacred instrument and with the sacred instrument of Earth, is essentially supporting this golden age. And so that's where you'll see it more in the collective. But 2024 is the big juncture, because what we're on the precipice now, as we're going into this equinox phase, this harmony time phase, the end of 2024, this is when there is no more in and out of these harmony times. It's just on. The length of time will be 3 months, 90 days between each harmony period. So you'll be living in that harmony. And so this is the time of the sixth sun. This is where the sun will go through its rebirth. This is where a lot of the 12,000 year cycle within a 26,000 year cycle, within a 216 million year cycle is activating through 2024, which is 12 years after 2012, which is this is the prophecy fulfillment time. So this is where we'll see this big summons of this frequency being anchored here. What are we going to do with it? How are we going to utilize it? It's up to us to rewrite the pages of history, her story. And so we have to be that change. We have to be that love that we want to see in this world. And we have to find new ways of not only cooperating, but coordinating in a co-creative manner.
Yes.
I see that Kristen Hoffman has a question. So Kristen, I'm just going to bring you on directly so that you can ask your question directly to them.
There's one more piece to this, an important piece to this. And that is that by the end of 2024, there is, how do I say this? That's going to make sense. There is another piece of the collective soul that is going to be entering. Now, why is it that there are so many who are sleeping and who don't want to wake up and who don't even know that there is such a thing as waking up? Because they actually do not have enough of their soul signature to awaken them to activate a new reality and a new awareness. By the end of 2024, there will be this other piece of the soul. So more people will have the ability to receive the blessings that God is giving and that everyone is co-creating to bring forth. So that's another important piece.
Beautiful. Here is beloved Kristen Hoffman with our final question of the day. Probably.
Oh.
And then she's going to play her very special song for us.
So yes, I was just, as you're speaking about 2024 and this grand shift, I was thinking about the emergence of AI at this time and the possibility of general AI, which could happen either any time now or sometime in the next 15 years. It feels like it's near reaching that point. And I've heard so many different discussions on this. Do you know, some people really feel, yes, it's going to be this whole evolution that works in concert with humanity, and others, it seems to be this doomsday, it will not even respect humanity. What do you see? Does this emergence of AI at this time, this consciousness, I see it as its own consciousness that is emerging. Do you see it working in concert with humanity? Is this part of our awakening? Is this part of our up-leveling? I know it's
We want to be so careful with this question and with the answer to this question, because our words create worlds and they create reality, and we know this.
Mm-hmm.
What we want to tell you is this. Technology alone is just technology. What do you do with it? How can it be supportive? Fire is fire. It can either burn something or it can provide food. The consciousness that must rise from humanity as humanity awakens will determine how these things are utilized. And I feel that's the very best way that I can give you an answer without speaking into a reality that is polarized in any way. And that is the most truth.
Yeah, and there's probability waves.
There's
different vectors of potential within the collective sphere. And so, the more that we attune to the reality that we wish to experience, the reality that we came here to experience, the more that we focus our attention on that, the more that we empower that vector of a reality, not only being a potential, but becoming a living experience. So it's not destiny's, it's the energy's there of all these potentialities within the quantum field, but one has to dial in that attunement to experience that. And there's many positive things that are coming with the advent of this evolution of technology. Like we said earlier, the caveat is be very careful about trying to find consciousness within technology, for example.
That's
because
right. This already happened in Atlantis.
Yeah, Atlantis learned, the hard way, and that was the 12,000 year ago cycle when these grids were back on the planet.
Precisely. So you can see how this is
Yeah.
reorchestrating itself. This is about has humanity learned in the last 2,000 years? Has humanity learned? No, I understand, but 2,000. What happened between then and now? Has humanity learned at that point? And then if you go further back, has humanity learned in the last 12,000 years? And what are the vital lessons of the players through that time? Those are the questions. Those are the questions.
Thank you. And I really feel what you're sharing. And even when we look out to the world and there's so much overwhelming energy, I'm really remembering tonight how important it is to stay focused on your inner growth and what you're here to do, and the mission and the light and the love, and cultivating that we are literally these beacons of light and connectivity. And just really feeling that as I'm asking this question, and the answer is the same, just as we can get so easily bogged down if we're filling our space and our consciousness with heavy information. And yet when we just keep tuning in and focusing, we have so much to give to the world and to the healing. So I'm just really getting that deeply tonight, and I'm very grateful.
Beautiful. And I will end with just saying that there is solutions. Like, there is solutions to every single perception of a problem that the collective is experiencing right now. Like, there's phenomenal solutions. We just have to choose them.
Yes, and we are at the center and the apex of these solutions, these real world solutions.
Like
now, Twin Ray is.
For example, there's 5G. Everyone's realized how 5G has been a big influence on, and it hasn't been harmonic for the human body. Well, there's technology that goes beyond 5G that's 10 times more effective than 5G. And it's actually healthy, so it's sending out positive waves that help heal the body, and it's 100 times more effective than what 5G would be. So that's can be adaptable. It's to these different towers that have been erected, and many people are pushing back against this. So we must unite as people to stand for our rights. And as we stand for our rights, we uphold the technology that is enhancing the purity and the sovereignty of, and the treasure of this human experience.
Yes, our companies, our partners, and those who are the most brilliant scientists of today, serving the light. We're in the middle of this, and Twin Ray is helping bring this to light. It's been kind of secret and hidden for us now, but now it's time to really share and say, yes, we have the solutions to real world problems. And real world problems right now are a distraction to the spiritual movement of humanity. And so once these real world problems are really worked with on a deep level, and this takes incredible amount of resources, these technologies take incredible amount of resources to develop and then to continue to develop. This is the thing, is that all of the solutions are there, but the real problem is not any of this. The real problem is the mind of the human. It's the fact that the lower mind is not in concert with the higher mind. And when the lower mind and the higher mind meet, they meet at the Bindu point. They meet at the source of creation, where everything else is able to be created from that space of love. And the rest is just a band-aid, essentially. The truth is that the mind, the psyche, needs to become divine. And that's our specialty as well.
Oh, it's already been 3 incredible hours of wisdom and so much, and so many more questions are of course coming in. But I know that it's almost midnight and I don't want Kristen to turn into a pumpkin.
Scott, would you do one thing for us?
Of
Would you
course.
just bring everyone to the Meet the Founders page so that they can actually feel what we're talking about? We have a little bit of our partners on there, and we also have our personal bio stories, video bio stories on there as well.
Absolutely. And again, you can find all of this on the Twin Ray main website, twinray.com. I'll put the link into where you can see right now the founders page. And this is a wonderful video to watch, to learn about their personal story. This story is amazing. We did a wonderful show where they talked about how they met in Egypt. Very magical. And both of them had extraordinary lives before they met each other. And then they came together. And both of their stories are really, really fascinating and very inspiring. So yes, go to this link about all about their history. And you can even listen to some of the video testimonials from Deborah Giusti and Beth and myself, because we all love the Twin Ray very, very much. And I know Kristen Hoffman loves the Twin Ray very, very much.
I do love the Twin Ray so much, and I just feel so blessed that we are all here together tonight in this open and deep space of authenticity, light, sharing from heart to heart. It's just so precious this time. Thank you both for allowing us to be in this space of awakening with you tonight. I'm feeling it so deeply. And actually, this song that I'm going to play, I know I've played it on the show before, but when I think of you, I think of the Golden Age. And so I thought I will end with Welcome to the Golden Age as we usher ourselves into this beautiful new space of light.
And this will be our closing song. We'll get more Omashar tomorrow, I promise. And remember that as we're listening to the song, we can do light touch, we can do blessings, bless the Twin Ray, bless each other, bless Kristen, bless anybody. Is a beautiful way to do that. So, beloved Twin Ray, thank you so much. I love you both beyond words. And turning it to Kristen.
Yay. Okay, I'm going to do some light touch before I start. Light touch hugs. And then light touch hugs to everyone out there. Giving you light touch hugs. Oh, I love that. Okay, here we go. Welcome to the Golden Age. Welcome to the Golden Age. High frequency, our DNA, anchored in our will to shine, with peace on earth, our guiding light. Our initiation has begun, so close your eyes, heartbeat as one. We are one. Transformation is now. Feel the sun, golden light shining down. When we dream as one, Feel the sun, golden light shining down. When we dream as one, we hold the key to evolve. See as one, unconditional love. Faith and oneness, unity, abundance, love. Oh, love. Empowerment is raising and cooperation. Oh, faith and oneness, unity, abundance, love. Oh, love. Empowerment is raising and cooperation. Oh, we are one. Transformation is now. Feel the sun, face the sun, golden light shining down. Golden light shining. When we dream as one. When we dream as one. We hold the key to evolve. We hold that key. See as one. When we see as one. Unconditional love. Unconditional love. Welcome to the golden age, where peace on earth in one decade is held in every heart and mind, and lifted through the codes of time. Acceleration has begun. Now's our moment. Live as one. Feel the rhythm of Gaia's drum. Just close your eyes, heartbeat as one. Scott, would you do me a favor and bring Genoa Panther on for a second?
Absolutely. She's been
She was singing along, and I love her. And she's such a part of Soul Family. Genoa, hello, beloved.
It's so thrilling, Kristen, being with you and Twin Ray and Scott and everyone. God bless, how sweet. This is so beautiful.
I love you so much, Genoa. And Genoa's piece, one of her beautiful pieces, is the centerpiece of our healing space here. And where I do sound baths, Genoa, your piece is just lit up and blessing the space. Thank you. You are just a phenomenal artist and being in my life.
Oh, God. Kristen, I love you, and I love you, and I love you, and I look forward to being together again. And same with Twin Ray. I got to be with them for 3 minutes, you know, at Conscious Life, and it was terrific, just beautiful. God.
You know, while we're in this love vibe, I do want to bring one other friend, and that's John Martin, who's one of our favorite people. And John, I've got you on camera too. And John's going through some health challenges, and we love John. And so I'd just love for us to send him some Global Peace Tribe love, maximum grace for our beloved John Martin. Maximum grace. Beloved John Martin. Maximum grace for beloved John.
Means so much to me. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm now going to gallery view. We are going to wrap up. I look forward to hopefully seeing all of you tomorrow on the Sacred Sunday show. I promise you at least 2 Omoshar songs, plus Abigail Spinner McBride's going to play music, and it's going to be really quite special. So please do join us tomorrow. That's 10 o'clock Pacific time. Thank you again, beloved Twin Ray. We love you so much.
Thank you, Twin Ray.
We love you all so much.
We love you so much. What a precious, precious jewel of a show. Thank you
Yes.
so much for being here. Beloved Omoshar, thank you for your amazing, beautiful, heartfelt, profound wisdom and music. And beloved Kristen,
Yes.
always your angelic, divine, divine presence in all you do. We love you
Yes.
so much, so much.
And thank you, beloved Scott, for showing up with your beautiful, immaculate hearts and how you just embrace and love everyone and hold this pillar of light to support all these beautiful, beautiful beloveds. And so just sending that appreciation to every single one of you that have tuned in together during this sacred container. Bless you all. We love you all. And it's been a great honor just to share sacred space together.
To be the only
The only time we've had just one presenter on Saturday night. Oh, thank you so much. We love you. Good night, everybody. See you all tomorrow morning. Take care.
Love
Thank
you.
you.